The first thing I want to say is fun. It's going to be fun between the spreadsheets. I mean, even the title is fun. It's it's a book for everybody, literally. My dad and my brother have read it and they got something out of it. But also many data professionals, highly skilled data scientists have read it and got something out of it. It's a book that merges the business world and the practical world with the data world. Mm-hmm. Puts it in really simple terms. I've taken everybody back to basics with this. It is literally how to clean some data in Excel, how to normalize suppliers, how to classify your data, how to clean things.
Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Engartica's interview series. I'm your host, Shubh Shah, and we are glad to have you join us today. Today, we have Susan Walsh, the classification guru on the show. Welcome, Susan.
Hi, thanks very much for having me.
Yeah. So the Engartica interview series is a powerhouse of insights from industry experts and influencers from around the world. A platform that provides the latest news on AI, automation, and technologies that will help you grow your business. Come be a part of the community, learn, share, and grow with us. So we'll start off. Tell us about your solution, method you use to classify data, and how much accuracy are you getting through it?
Well, I guess some in the industry might look at us and think we're a bit prehistoric. My team and I classify data manually by eye, and we do that not because we don't like change and technology, but I'm a really firm believer that you have to get your data right the first time before you automate it, use software, have processes, etc. And the only way that you can really know if your data is correct is by manually classifying it, cleaning it, etc. And so we are that first point. We are that bit that nobody else wants to do, and that nobody talks about really. Mm-hmm. And so, we are very efficient at it. I've created my own methodology, and we use some data modeling and visualization software called Omniscope. So we're not completely, sitting with spreadsheets and, taking a million years. We can do it more efficiently and effectively than teams. And because we're doing it by eye and it's with people and we're going through every single line, we are more accurate. From what I hear from my clients, we're in the 95, 6, 7+% accuracy. There's, unless it's contextual and we don't understand it, we're there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. That's absolutely great. So can you shed some more light on the concept of taxonomy development and how do businesses benefit from it?
Oh, well, this is so important actually for when you are classifying your data, and whether that is classification of file sensitivity or classification of spend data. If you don't have the right taxonomy, you could end up with misclassification, incorrectly classified information, or even people just don't bother to classify it because the right option is not in the taxonomy. Mm-hmm. Things that you need to think about when you use a taxonomy is it too detailed or not detailed enough? Does it fit the data that I have? So if my data only says stationery, I don't need a taxonomy that says paper, pens, pencils. I don't need that level of detail. All I need is office supplies, etc. But if I know I'm buying rubber bands and pencils and paper, then I probably want to classify it as that. So I need a more detailed taxonomy. And then also things like, if I am a professional services company like myself, I don't need to have nuts, bolts, screws, and hand tools and things like that in my taxonomy because we're not using those things. So make it relevant as well. And also really easy to understand. So somebody could come in that is not familiar with the business and use that taxonomy. Quite often we use acronyms or company terms, and it might not be obvious to somebody new, which again causes more misclassification, dirty data, and then relevance as well. And if you've got those things, you'll have a better data set. It will save you time, you will make less errors, there'll be less to correct, and you can make better business decisions.
Oh, that's great. And so data literacy, it's the hot topic right now. So do you think businesses are aware of the concept, but they're not able to implement it on the organization level? Or there's a big gap in the management accepting and implementing it throughout the organization?
think it's a really well-known word within the data space, not necessarily within the whole company or the organization. I can't tell you the number of times that I have heard stories that companies have bought software that will fix all their problems, and guess what? It's not fixed all their problems. And that's partly due to data literacy, because the people who are making the decisions on purchasing this software might not necessarily understand how it works, and that can be down to data literacy. And I genuinely believe that it's seen as an intimidating subject. It's boring. It's, people think of data governance and it's, that's someone else's job. But actually, we are all working with data. We're not all data professionals, but we're all working with data. Right. And we should have more knowledge about the consequences of what happens when it's not right. But we're definitely not there yet.
So, that's nice. And so what do you think is the best approach you'd recommend to all businesses for solving this dirty data problem?
Well, we've got to make it less intimidating. We've got to make it a priority. We've got to make it more fun. That's what we have to do. And a way that I've tried to get people engaged in it that might not necessarily be interested in data is I came up with the data coat. So I say, make sure your data has its coat on, like a jacket. So your data has to be consistent, first of all. That means standard terms, standard processes, standard units of measure. Are you talking miles or meters? Are we talking kilograms or pounds? How are we formatting our dates? Is it day, month, year, year, or is it month, day, year, year? And are we using dashes, slashes, or dots to separate it? Whenever I do an online session, I ask everybody who's online to write their date format in the chat, and every single person is different. We don't have standard processes within a department, let alone a whole organization. So get those consistencies in place. And then next, it needs to be organized too. So categorize it, whether that is file security and sensitivity, who has access, whether that is it the IT department, or is it the finance department, or is it HR, whether it's your spend data, whether it's a location or a region, get that categorized. Because, if you think of your wardrobe, you wash your top and you throw it back in there, and then you go to find it a week later and you have to scramble through and it's creased and you got to iron it and it might take you a while. And then that's like 20 minutes of your life wasted. Imagine if you had hung that top up in order with all your other clothes when you had washed it. That meant the next time you went back in, you could just go and pull it out and use it. And data is exactly the same as that. You categorize it and you can pull it out really quickly. So have that consistency, have that organization. Of course, you have to have accurate data. Define what that is within the type of data that you're working with. And then once you have those three things, your consistency, organization, and accuracy, guess what? You've got trustworthy data. And I don't know about you, but I hear all the time, the main issues with data is trust. How, we don't trust our data. Yeah. So, it's not foolproof. We will never have magic, perfect data 100% all of the time, but we can certainly move towards more accurate data.
Correct. So there's also one other issue that companies face is the problem of incomplete data. So how do you think they can tackle this? And like the continuous updation of data, because is that even possible to even continuously keep updating it?
Well, so you have your data coat, you've put it on and it's all nice. Guess what? You've got to keep that coat on. It doesn't just stay there on its own. You have to put the work in. So you have to do regular refreshing of your data, regular updates. And it doesn't have to be every single day, depending on the volume of data you're working with. If you're in finance, then yeah, probably your data does need to be updated daily. But if it's sales and marketing, maybe you could do it monthly or quarterly. It doesn't have to be a massive, like laborious task. But if you do it on a regular basis, it's easier to maintain. Then you don't have a problem of having to fix it again in another year or so. I guess another analogy I've used is like hoovering or vacuuming your flat or your house. If you do it once a week, you keep on top of it. It's not that bad a task. But if you left it for 3 months, it would be a nightmare. So, and data is the same. It's you've got to just keep on top of it. And again, if people understand the importance of it and get involved in it and make it part of your routine and your process, then it should be easier to achieve.
And now a little more about you. So can you tell us about a little book about your book, Between the Spreadsheets? What should the audience expect from this book?
Well, I think the first thing I want to say is fun. It's going to be fun. Between the Spreadsheets. I mean, even the title is fun. It's a book for everybody, literally. My dad and my brother have read it and they got something out of it. But also many data professionals, highly skilled data scientists have read it and got something out of it. It's a book that merges the business world and the practical world with the data world. Mm-hmm. Puts it in really simple terms. I've taken everybody back to basics with this. It is literally how to clean some data in Excel, how to normalize suppliers, how to classify your data, how to clean things. And it's just in a simple, basic way, because not everybody has tools, not everybody has the budget to afford people to do it for them. So I'm just giving them something, but also not just showing them how to do it, but telling them the reasons why they need to do it and what are the consequences. Like, if you don't do it this way, this is what will happen. So yeah, and everybody that I've spoken to has enjoyed it. And one of the favorite chapters in the book is the data horror stories. People from my LinkedIn network anonymously donated some data horror stories, and that's a chapter that people definitely enjoy.
I mean, I would too. If I knew about when you were writing about the book, I'd share my horror stories with you too. But
yeah, well, it makes other people feel better that other people are having the same problems as them. Yeah. It's not just them. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. That sounds interesting, actually. I'm going to get my hands soon on your book.
Available on Amazon?
Yes, definitely. Any of the sound bites you would want to leave our audience with?
Just different people within an organization need to be spoken to about data in different ways. So you would speak to your data professionals in a more technical way, perhaps. Your decision makers, your senior management we need to humanize it and make it less intimidating, make it more relatable. And yeah, just keep that data coat on.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights with us today. For more content,
thanks so
much. So for more content, subscribe to Engati and tap on the bell icon to access to exclusive content from thought leaders and around the globe.